Hey, Sansum Warrior Mindset again. And today I'm going to be chatting to my son. He doesn't know what I'm going to be talking about because we chat about loads of stuff all the time, but I'm going to be asking you some questions. And just before we came on, he said, what are you going to be asking me? I said, I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it. But Damon, you've been in martial arts now. How many years?
I started at 12 years old.
12, yeah.
Now I'm 36. So, 24 years.
A long time, eh?
Yeah, 24 years, a long time.
Long time. And when we talk about martial arts, we're generally talking about our martial arts, our Sansum martial arts. And we do, it's kind of a mixture really, a mashup, isn't it, with Taekwondo, karate and kickboxing?
Yeah, I think the style of martial arts, a lot of people say, what do you do? And I say martial arts. Is it karate? Yeah, there's a blend of karate. Taekwondo, yes, Taekwondo. Some kickboxing. So from the different styles that I've done in my life, which is kickboxing, so point fighting. So got to the top, top of that, world title, team world title and World Cup title and other ones. And then Olympic Taekwondo, where I got commonwealth champion, world silver medalist, European silver medalist. Should have been European champion, but it was a bit of a tricky decision. As most combat styles can be. So I'm fortunate enough to have 2 black belts, 6th dan in kickboxing and a first dan in Olympic Taekwondo. I've been at the top of both, and I've also done some boxing, some boxing training and kickboxing as well. So our style at Sansum Martial Arts is an eclectic style.
And definitely.
We're not pigeonholed into one style. And I think from me training in multiple styles with the best in the world, in the WAKO World Team Final, when we won as Team GB, it was me, Michael Venom Page, as he's called now in MMA. So Michael, good lad. Drew Neal, Sharon Gill, Mark Brown. So I've trained with the best in that style. And also in Olympic Taekwondo, training with world champions, Olympic champions. So I think with the experience I've had, it's allowed me to pick from different martial arts and to understand that not one style is the best. And I think picking up from training with such high level people in completely different combat styles, it's allowed me to pick the best from each one and create almost our own style, to be fair.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? And also it's interesting because we're not aligned to any one style. And some of these actual organisations, if you're part of them and you train anywhere else, they won't even let you train. And that to me is I just can't get my head around that. But fortunately, the styles we work with, we can look at our athletes. And we've got a young team. How young now? Really seriously, 18 months?
Yeah, of focused competition training.
18 months.
They've just come out of the beginner category.
Yeah.
In our opinion and our perception of levels.
Yeah.
Which is the top of the top always.
Yeah.
They're on the path, but they're progressing fast, and it's a process which I struggle with because I'm really impatient, as you know.
Yeah.
So it's a process, and you want them to be, now. Why have they not got good timing? Why can't they do it? And you go home and you can't sleep, and I'm sitting there in bed, thinking of so many different things. But it's a process, and that's one thing that I'm trying to relax and understand as a coach. Not only as a fighter, you have to learn to lose, but as a coach, you have to learn to lose. So it's the whole it's the whole experience since retiring from competition. It's the same feelings as a coach. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, and I suppose really, if I was to ask you a question, because our goal is to have world champions, isn't it?
Yeah.
To give these kids a massive start in life and for them to inspire other kids in the martial arts schools to be the best that they can be. That's the reason why we do it. So if we were going to have a world champion, so there's that many organisations out there, and I always kind of say you've got Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4. Mm-hmm. You've got the pub league.
Yeah.
It's all there. So am I right in thinking that the top standard in the areas we can compete at the moment would be WKF karate?
Agreed.
Which we can't do at the moment because we train with another style, but that will change. It's got to change. The Olympic Taekwondo.
So WT Olympic Taekwondo.
Yeah. And WAKO kickboxing.
Yeah, I agree. I think...
would you say they're the 3 top ones?
Yeah, I would... Yeah, I would definitely agree. In terms of standard...
Of athletes.
Yeah, 100%.
So my question is...
Okay.
We've been going for 18 months with our young team, and you've been doing a fantastic job, as always. How long before you get your first podium finish?
In one of those three.
In one of those three.
I think that what I'm trying to find, and both of us are trying to find the balance of, is teaching them how to punch, teaching them how to kick, and teaching them how to sweep, and all these different fractions. So they're doing little bits of each. So to get a podium finish and a gold medal in each one of them styles, then you're gonna have to guide someone specifically into that style when they're ready, because it's like a boxer clearly has the best punches because all they train is boxing. Taekwondo, potentially, have some of the best kicks because all they do is kick. And, so I think I've got one lad now, Alistair Elliott, who's come on the basically full-time training. So with his body type, he's really tall. He's 6'3" or 4", 63, 4 kilos. So, we've got the ability as coaches and experience is to then say, your physical body type suits Taekwondo.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we have other people that are athletic and agile. Karate maybe. Or karate, I would say. Someone that's maybe likes a little scrap and a tear up and he's maybe not so technical, I don't know. Maybe the continuous kickboxing. So I think for me, again, the improvement that Alistair's made, and I've coached him for 4 months now, every day.
What a difference. Incredible.
The difference is incredible of what he's done so far. So, evidence once I choose a specific niche style, then that's the process, and the result so far is excellent. So back on the question, I would say another 2.5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Challenge set, mate. 2.5
years.
Wow.
2.5 years.
Okay. We've got some work to do.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Okay, right. 100%. Okay, I'm up for that. So
2.5, 3 years.
Remember where you heard that?
It's by 20. What was it? 2.5, 3 years. So.
Oh, hang on.
2020. We'll say 2027.
2027. Right. Okay. Well, let's do it now.
A little bit. 2026, 6.5. So around there, so it's 3-4 years. But 2027 by 2027.
So we talk about this a lot, Damon, and we've looked at various teams, various things, different teams, maybe not just sport, high-performing teams in all kinds of sectors. So when we train our athletes, it's slightly different than other models.
Okay.
And we both bring different things to the party. So when you're training your athletes, what would you say, as being an athlete themselves on the receiving end, what would you say are the top 3 or 4 qualities you would like to see in a coach, which you try to be for your athletes?
It's a great question. So the 3 attributes that I would like to see if I'm rating a coach, or I would like to emulate or trying to do or will do. Number 1, it has to be passion. It has to be passion.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't got a passion for what you're doing, like an obsession passion, you're not going to go that extra mile to, this is tactically, research the game. I sit at night time, I'll have the YouTube on and I'm looking and I'm analysing, I'm making notes and I'm educating myself. And I'm, just kind of constantly increasing my IQ as a in the sport.
Yeah.
So that's one fraction of passion for that, I think, is essential to drive champions. But also, I think not a tricky one, but sometimes as a coach, when you analyse why a lot of people are doing it and going that extra mile, spending thousands out their pocket, taking their students to tournaments, flying away when they lose and traveling to Italy and they lose first fight, and they're constantly taking them to get these goals. But I think 2 fractions of that is, one is someone's doing it for their ego, and the second one is
the coach.
Yeah, the coach, and the other one is someone's doing it for the student or the fighter. So yeah, it's a tricky one, but I think, of course, you want to produce champions, and it does make you feel good when your athlete does well. When we took my young team that we coached, so our Sansum fight team went to the tournament in Scotland for the first time, and the beginners who have started, again, not the highest level in them divisions, but they smashed it. They stood out from all the students, all the other competitors, and that gives you dopamine as a coach. So it gives you that little bit of rush that you felt when you fight. So part of it is for you, of course, but then I think it's equally key that the coach also does the best for the athlete, and they're looking after them on a deeper level, making sure they're okay mentally, making sure they're cared for and supported and not made to feel really terrible if they lose, and not doing it out of fear to upset the coach, but doing it out of the love and the kind of one feeling with the whole team. So I think that's a key aspect for me, because with Sansum Martial Arts, you know, what we're trying to create and what we are creating is it's a team environment, and they are part of a team. And it's even in an individual sport, you want them to feel like they're getting supported and understand their partners are to do with their success, and their parents and the whole setup. So they have that kind of team camaraderie. So I think for a coach to create that team spirit is the second attribute, because it's key. And I watched a Netflix documentary, and it was about this basketball team. I forget which team it was. And they adopted this African feeling of togetherness.
Yes.
I forget the tribe's name. I'm not sure you've watched it.
You told me about it.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
I'm going to watch it.
Well, I'll find the name and I'll put it in the comments. But it's how they use this oneness of, if I am happy, you're happy.
Yeah.
If I succeed, you succeed. And this tribe, they all have a few days of the year while they go out and they sing and they chant. So the basketball team adopted this culture of, if you are good, I am good. If I come into training and you're not pushing it, or there's an issue, then we're all going to help you out, because we know that if you don't win, we don't win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think to create that vibe in your team, be it professional or amateur, I think that breeds and drives success. And the final one as a coach, I think, again, I was watching a Brendan Ingle documentary, and I sent you the video.
Great coach.
And I know that he's produced great boxing champions, but I don't know lots about him as a coach. I didn't know lots. So I've been looking into him, and he's the same. You know, some fighters, Johnny Nelson, Nazim Hamid, Kell Brook. Did Harold Bomber Graham, or was he not there?
Oh, it's back in the day. He was great boxer, wasn't he?
I'm not sure he was with Brendan Ingle. I could be wrong. But he's produced excellent champions. But when you hear about the stories of what Brendan Ingle did in the gym, it's, he's helped people get jobs. Maybe the career didn't work out, so he's and put them into the fire industry and helped them with their CVs. And so I think for me to understand as a great coach, it's also going that extra mile to make sure your fighters or your athletes succeed, and you're not just doing a job for you. Yeah, you're creating them and helping them. And I know elite sport as well is tough, and there's losses and there's pressures, but to feel cared for and to help them become better people, I think that's a great attribute for a coach.
It is, Damon, yeah, it is. And it makes you think about it, because our students in years to come will be at that stage, and we've got to look after them if they get injured and things like that. Currently not being done enough in this sport. There's no aftercare, it's a fire and forget, but hopefully, we have a plan for our athletes that we can bring them into Sansum Martial Arts, and we can get them working in the business of martial arts and giving back all their experience. So we have got a pathway there at the moment. It's interesting about the coaching, and we've not even talked about punches and kicks. It doesn't matter, does it?
No.
Everyone goes, what's the best coach? You could do this and fight and this and that and tactics and percentages and that. Nah. And as you know, I talk about this. I talk about high team performance in different industries and sport as well. And we really drill down on this, don't we? So, we'll see. It's about Ted Lasso. Have you seen it?
No.
Ted Lasso. If you haven't seen it, watch it. There's a bit of humour, some dark humour in there, but it's very, very clever. And it's about this coach. I won't say too much. And he comes from America, and he starts coaching this football team, and he has not got a clue about football. Soccer. Anyway, it's a TV programme, but he changes the team, and they all start winning and all the rest of it. And he doesn't even talk about football, because it's not important. Because you have coaches who can do that.
Yeah.
If you're the head coach, the head leader of a fight team, well, your position is to look after the team, right?
Yeah.
And all the rest of it. But very, very interesting. And I'll tell you what as well, Damon, it's interesting as well that when you send out your young team, for anybody out there who are coaches, and you send out your young team to podium finish, whatever division they're in, well, out of the whole tournament, there's only 3 podium finishes, maybe 4 if you get a joint bronze.
Yeah.
So 90% of their journey, it's either win or lose. Yeah. Either feel good or feel bad. So for 90% of their journey, they're going to feel bad because they're not going to podium finish. And I've seen it so many times, and kids just give in. So that's an interesting psychology we can speak about again. But I'm going to ask you something now, Damon, that I know everybody listening would be fascinated by, and I was when you first started telling me. The Olympic athletes are drug tested, right? WADA. How does it work?
Yeah, so when you're on the Olympic team in any sport or Team GB, you're drug tested at tournaments. I've got a funny drug test story actually.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, you get tested at tournaments, and sometimes they can tip up to the gym.
Anytime,
yeah. And then when you get really good as an athlete, you then can go in a testing pool. So if you're pushing out world medals, which I was, and qualifying for the Olympics, which I was, that you then get put onto a program where you have to tell them where you are every morning and every night. So I'll get onto the whereabouts of every morning, every night, and how that works. But so they'll tip up to your gym. This is a standard one, and then they'll see who's training, and they'll write all the names down, and then they will randomly pick 3 boys, 2 girls, or 2 boys, 2 girls. So you might get picked, you might not. So when you get picked, especially after training and sweating, for 2-3 hours in a session, and then after you finish, well, we all see them and we're like, oh no, because you want to go home and sleep and recover. And you think, if I get picked, I could be here for 2 hours. So you're thinking...
A urine sample?
Yeah, mainly urine, the odd time blood. And because you're sweating so much, you're a bit dehydrated in training, you're still drinking, so it can take a while to process. So your name's Damo, you've been called. Oh, all right, mate. Right. Okay. I'll see you boys in a bit. Everyone goes home to chill and eat their food and sleep. And I'm stuck here. So just a urine sample. They have to come into the toilet with you. They have to physically watch it coming out of you. So it's intimate. Yeah. And sometimes I struggle to go. Some people can go straight away. Some people can't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just struggle to go. I think it's just like when you overthink it. So you're thinking, I need to wee, I need to pee. And then you think about it that much that you don't do it.
Yeah.
So it's a frustration. Yeah. So that's the normal one. So when I got really good, I was then put on whereabouts, which is called Adams. And then it's a electronic system, and you've got to say where you are every morning, every night, and your activities during the day. So you got to keep this constantly updated.
Oh, wow.
So then if you're not somewhere where you said you would be, it's a missed test. So it's a fail.
Really?
2 fails, and the third one, you've got problems. Like Mo Farah.
Yes.
He was on his 3rd strike, and he said he couldn't hear the door. So essentially, he should have been banned.
Yes.
But
according to the rules.
Yeah. But I mean, if he was about to be retired, injury-ridden athlete, they would have made an example and banned him. But because he's Mo Farah and he's earning a lot of money for the sport and his credibility, they give, there's leeway.
Yeah. So
you get a missed test. So that's how it works. So you got to put up a 6 a.m. time slot, and that's what you have to. You have to be there.
And does it have to be 6 a.m?
Yeah, it has to be. Or you can choose your time.
Okay.
But you generally would choose a time when you know you're going to be in bed.
In bed, right, got you.
But I remember the first time, because you're not aware, and the first time I got a knock on the door at 10 to 6. And I'm thinking, it's someone that's trying to get in from a night out. I was in a flat in Manchester. So wake up, go to the toilet, and then answer the door. And I'm like, oh no. So you're there for ages.
Is it like the Men in Black when they arrive?
Yeah,
Is it like...
yeah, they have the pee-proof goggles and their notebooks. And
like, those things that you wear at festivals, those raincoats.
Yeah.
You don't want them on.
Yeah, that's how they...
Pair of marigolds.
They don't talk to you. They just give you the thing. And they actually, you'd be familiar with them. So
okay, you get to know them.
Yeah, and so I used to chat to them quite a bit. They're ex-prison officers that have volunteered to do it. They get paid for it. And it's generally a lot of ex-sports people that are doping testers. So ex-rugby players and football players. So they're kept in the sport. Yeah. But now, instead of doing the sport, they're watching sports people urinate into a cup.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, each to their own. But it's a really good job they're doing. Not thing I would like to do.
No.
Early mornings and
Willy Watcher.
Yeah.
That's your profession.
Yeah. So that was what I was on for years, many years. Which was I think it's really good that GB is, they making sure they see clean sport. Yeah. And they're even within their own fractions, there's exceptions. And I'm sure, I've got a very good friend who is an Olympic hammer thrower, and, some of the stories that goes on about the doping and the sneaky methods of getting around it. You hear stories, but I know that the sport that I was in, Olympic Taekwondo, completely clean. I mean, you're stick thin. I used to weigh 80 kilos and now I'm 100. So you're not going to be on, steroids, or the only thing would be diuretics, but very clean sport, Olympic Taekwondo in Great Britain. Yeah, drug testing story. I remember I used to train all night, compete all day and all night when I was in Olympic Taekwondo. How it works is you could have 5 or 6 fights in a day at a major tournament, and each fight's 3 2-minute rounds. And some fights, as you get to semis and finals, they can be pretty back-to-back. So it's quite a strenuous day on not just your body, but your emotions, because when you're competing in amateur sports, you got 6 or 7 different opponents and 6 or 7 times to get up and 6 and 7 times to get down. So all the dopamine rushes. So Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson did a jiu-jitsu tournament recently, and he's a UFC champion, one of the best ground fighters ever. And he was saying, God, I was in a 48-man tournament and I had 6 different opponents. So that's him coming from the UFC to amateur.
Wow.
But then appreciating it. So yeah, many fights. So I had, I think 5 or 6 fights, and I was in Korea at the World Championships in 2017 in Muju, where I came back from hip surgeries and then ended up getting into the finals and got my second world medal, and it was a bronze medal, lost on golden point. And then so I had to do the doping test now, which is standard after winning a medal in a major.
Right.
And yeah, it just took me so long to go, and I just couldn't go because I was dehydrated. I was fighting all day. Yeah. And then all the team are back at the HQ and celebrating our successes, and I'm stuck in this room with these 2 Korean people trying to get me to urinate
drinking as much as you can,
drinking loads. And then I thought to myself, if I have a shower, maybe, I don't know, it's going to make me go. So they went, okay, come in the shower. They got to be in there with you. So I'm just,
Did they take their clothes off to go in?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no, it sounds a bit weird, but you just got to keep your eye on you. So yeah, showered, had a shower, couldn't go. And ended up 2.5 hours later, 3 hours later, I was like, I can go now. And now I'm getting texts from everyone saying, Damo, we've got another hour and a half of, having drinks or food, and we're going to the airport. We're late, because I used to fight on the last day all the time. So I'm now thinking, I'm going to miss my flight. So I finally go. And then so how they do it in the drug testing is they fill out all your information. You put it into the different samples. So sample A and sample B, and you tighten it with a screw that can never be untightened. And you put your labels on, and the doctor's with you.
Sign it.
Yeah, the doctor or physio, and they'll sign it off. So you do all this, and it's all in the sealed containers. Then what they do is they've left a little bit of the sample to do a hydration test. So then they put the pipette in and do the hydration test. And because I've been drinking for so long, she went, "You're too hydrated."
No.
Yeah, she said that the sample's invalid. And I said, listen, I need to go home. I need to go home. I've been in Korea for ages. I've not been able to eat. I've been starving myself to make weight. I want to go back to the house where the Team GB is, have a pizza and get to the airport and get home. And the doctor said, sorry, mate, I'm leaving you here. I think it was John with me, John Rochford, I think.
Oh, the Team GB doctor.
Yeah. Oh, the physio. Yeah, because it's like, no, it wasn't John. It was someone else. I forget who it was. It might have been Adrian. But yeah, because they said, like, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to not fly home. So it was like, I'm going to shoot, because I said, I'll be fine. I'm going to go in a second again. And they're thinking, so he's thinking I'm going to miss the flight. I'm thinking I'm going to miss the flight. Someone would have stayed with me, I'm sure. So then I said to the woman, pass me my sample, the test sample. And I said, can I do something? And she went, okay. So it was like, it sounds minging, but looked a bit like darker at the bottom and clear at the top.
Yeah.
So then clear, but then there was a little bit of darkness in the bottom. So I got this pipette and I said, test it again. And she went, I'm not supposed to do this, but okay, because they want to go home.
Yes.
So then gets the pipette and does it, and she went, hydrated. I was like, oh my God.
What?
Straight from there, get your bag. And then from the rest of the night, because you've drunk so much, you're now weeing for hours. Straight, because it just comes, because the pressure's gone. And so I nearly missed the flight coming home from Korea. I'm not sure she should have let me do that. And I don't know her name. But thankfully. But yeah, I've been in many doping tests where the dopers are like, mate, we need to go home. My wife's got dinner on the table. Like, please, can you go? And to finish off on that before we wrap this podcast up, I remember doing a doping test again. I mean, I've done about 30 or 25. I don't know how many, a few. And I was again from training, I was on the toilet, and sometimes I thought if I sat down on the toilet to have a wee, it can sometimes be better.
Yeah.
So just trying everything. And the guy's opposite me and we're talking, and he's a really good lad, and he's watched me wee a few times now.
You bonded then?
We bonded. We were friends.
Yeah.
Brothers in... Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just sat on the toilet and we're talking and I'm, just trying to force it to go. And yeah, it wasn't the proudest moment where I went to the toilet, but it was the wrong toilet.
Oh no!
So I was.
Megan.
It's not nice, is it? It's not one of my proudest moments, but real talk on this show, and I'm going to be real with you. So yeah, I produced a sample, but it wasn't the sample that they wanted.
A sample. How many times do you think he's told his mates after a beer?
I don't know.
I bet wherever he lives, if you walked into that village or that town, they'd be like, "He's here." That's the guy.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's a common thing. But I think
you should ask your friends.
Yeah,
or maybe not, mate.
No. Speaking on that, I'm gonna wrap this up with one little story that someone that I know has told me. He used to be involved in Olympic sport.
Yeah, here we go. Somebody I know. Okay,
I can't say names.
A friend of mine.
I can't say names, but this story has always tickled me. And please drop a comment or drop us a message in the comments if you like this story, because I think it's a cracker. I'll give you a clue about the storyteller. Big lad, red hair. This story, guys, is funny. So it's on the topic of what we just spoke about. And I didn't want to go, I don't know why it's transpired to this, but this is a very funny...
I don't know what is going to come out.
It's a very funny joke. So my friend gets invited to the England rugby captain's house. And it was all, the head honchos there and everyone was really well to do with. So him and his wife went and she was really nervous and saying like, I'm so nervous. He's going to be here and he's going to be here. And it's such a posh soiree. And I'm just a bit nervous to go. So they go and sit down. And
my God, I know what's coming.
So they go... So they go and have a few drinks and they're chatting and, she's trying to, which knife and fork shall I use, nudging him. So then she's like, doesn't know what to say. She needs to go to the toilet, but she says, sorry, everybody, I'm on the way to powder my nose. And then goes upstairs and she goes to the toilet, which is and not a wee. Someone must have been in just before and she's trying to flush and it's not flushing. And then they got a knock on the door now and she's thinking, I'm at this posh dinner. Someone can't walk in and see this in the toilet. So then she panics. She opens the window, just fishes it out and then discard
out the window.
Discard it out the window before the next person comes in.
Job done.
Job done. Yeah, job done. And then goes to sit beside her husband and went, sorry guys, just powdering my nose, back to the dinner. No, she said, went for number one. And he went, no, you didn't. He said, you've had a crap. And if you look up, it's sliding down the conservatory window above where they were eating. At that point, excuse me, darling, we're going home.
Oh, wow. That is so funny.
Yeah, we've got some funny stories,
mate. The more we do the podcast, we're going to refine what we're doing, if we can refine it at all, and bring you some great content, which I'm sure you're going to like. So that's a tiny bit of stuff you've done, Damon. I'm going to ask you loads more in future episodes, but I'm super excited, mate, because we're going to be doing the Flinch test.
Yes, we're going to be doing the Flinch test in our episode, and it's going to see how Cameron, the cameraman behind the scenes, big up Cameron, and we're going to be doing a challenge to see his flinch reaction on a roundhouse kick delivered by myself with a Taekwondo body armor on, and we're going to see how he can stay strong and not move, and he's a big, strong lad, Cameron, and then we're going to record it and do the flinch test. We're going to scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst ever flinch response where he's rolling on the floor and crying, which he won't be. And then number 10 is, bossed it and not even move the muscle. So yeah, the flinch test. This is the first one. Cameron's volunteered. And then after that, our guests on the show that are up for it are going to be down to do the flinch test. So not only will you talk to us and we can share your journey, we want to test your flinch response. We want to test your inner chi and see who can flinch the least.
It's all about the chi.
The chi.
Okay, here we go for the Flinch challenge. The Flinch challenge with Cameron the camera and Damon Sansum, who knows a little bit about kicking. So we're going to see 3 kicks. We're going to be checking the flinch on Cameron, the camera, and we're going to go light, moderate, full metal jacket. And here we go. Right, so here we go. Get ready for number 1. Okay. Number 1, here we go.
One out of 3 progression.
Okay, so stand by. Right, whenever you're ready, gentlemen. Number 1. That's number 1. Bit of a flinch there. Bit of a flinch there. Right, okay. So we're just gonna take it up a little bit for number 2. Here we go, number 2. Yeah, put a ki on it. The ki is always good.
Hey!
That's number 2. Right, now here we go. Right, this is it. Number 3. Number 3 is coming in. You're gonna find out, brother. Right, here we go. Number 3, stand by. This is full metal jacket. Number 3 for the flinch test of flinch test.
Hey! Woo!
Cameron loves that. What do you think about that, mate?
Oh, yeah, to be fair.
Just step back a bit, Cameron. You don't even know about your camera coming too short. I'm telling Cameron the camera what to do. What do you think?
That was 80. I didn't want to.
Oh, yeah, probably would have killed me with that.
Do you want to go for the 100?
Nah, give me 2 seconds.
Right, here we go. This is setting the standard. Right, we're going to do 100, are we?
Right, 1 second.
No flinch was fun.
Right, this is the flinch test. Oh, look at this.
We'll go 100%.
100%. Here we go. Here we go, Cameron. Right, stand by. Stand by. Ready. Come on, Cameron. Yeah. Get your chi shield on, mate. Here we go.
Okay, here we go, Cameron. You ready?
100%.
Hey! Woo!
I think there was a bit of a flinch there, Cameron. I think you stepped back about a foot then to avoid the kick. So here we go. That was Cameron. Respect. Go back a bit, gents. Go back a bit. Get in the camera. Respect to Cameron. The first one.
That's it, yeah.
Yes, Cameron's shaking.
Yeah.